UConn fans making their way inside the XL Center to get a look at the defending national champs on this final day of 2014. It's the American Athletic Conference on ESPN, and this afternoon, the UConn Huskies entertain the Temple Owls, who have already pulled off a stunning upset of Kansas and now take aim at the defending national champs. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year's Eve. I'm Dave O'Brien, welcoming you to Hartford. Doris Burke, my partner, already dressed for the evening.
Ready to go.
Temple has already played a great basketball game against Kansas. Not only that upset, Doris, but they won that game by 25. They're suddenly a very dangerous team.
Well, they've been well prepared with a quality non-conference schedule. They've lost a couple of close ones, less than 100%, and they're going to come at you with a contingent, a trio of really dangerous scorers at the guard position. They will test your individual and collective defense. At the point guard, it's senior Will Cummings. Junior Quentin DeCozy is an outstanding shooter, and the addition of Jesse Morgan, playing in his 4th game in his only semester of eligibility, has raised their level from range.
Well, of course, UConn won it all last year. When we come to the state of Connecticut, we tend to talk about national championships quite a bit on both the men's and the women's side. This season, though, some new faces, some definite new roles.
Well, new roles, but you could draw some parallels in the constitution of the team to last year's national championship year. And by that, I mean you've got the great point guard absorbing so much of the responsibility. A great number 2 in Ryan Boatwright a year ago. And, of course, the X factor on the national championship, a guy who played great, DeAndre Daniels, in the NCAA tournament. Well, now Ryan becomes the lead actor, and he is having the same kind of season Shabazz had. The key to the season for me is Rodney Purvis. Can he be consistent as that second scorer? And wait till you get a load of the freshman Daniel Hamilton, superior talent who contributes in a number of ways.
Let's give you a look at the starting lineups now. For Temple, Cummings, Morgan, and DeCozy all getting between 14 and 16 points a game. So they have some scorers now. Jalen Bond is a ferocious rebounder. For UConn, Brima is a premier shot blocker. Hamilton, a very gifted freshman. If you've not seen him yet, he's a lot of fun to watch. But as Boatwright goes, that's how UConn will go. The boat show, as they call it here. Kevin Ollie is 3rd year as the head coach here at Connecticut. He's not only won a national title, he won 50 games in his first 2 seasons at UConn. The first Connecticut coach to do that. And a big hug with his star there. Of course, this is alma mater. He was a wonderful point guard, certainly a pass-first guy himself, and up against one of the outstanding coaches in the game, and Fran Dunphy, his 9th year at Temple, and looking to return Temple to the NCAA tournament after missing out last season. They had gone 6 years in a row prior to that. It's been a great turnaround already for Temple. 9-22 a season ago. They've already won 9 games this year. We're underway as UConn wins the opening tip here in Hartford. Here's Boatwright with his first touch coming in, a co-captain averaging 19, along with 5 rebounds and 4 assists.
Was that a lob attempt?
I'm not sure.
By Daniel he and Brima have a good connection, but that one looked a little bit awkward.
Yeah, it's been a lot prettier than that in the early going of the season than the one we just saw there. This is the American Conference opener for both sides. Because UConn finished 3rd in the conference last year and then went on to win the whole thing in the NCAA tournament. Morgan with a jumper, harassed. And a rebound hauled in by UConn and by Facey, the 6'9" sophomore from Jamaica.
That will not be the only difficult shot Jesse Morgan takes today.
I would think not.
He's capable of taking and making those.
Purvis airmails that one, but Brima picked it up on the baseline. He's in a tough spot. Very difficult angle. And Temple wins it back. Temple went 4-14 in the American Conference last year. Most believe they'll finish near the top of the league the way things are developing, because they get Morgan and now they get Coleman back. And all of a sudden, they're a much better offensive team, especially shooting from long distance.
Correct. Fran Dunphy's team, prior to the arrival of Morgan and Coleman, were making 4.5 threes per game. Since those 2 guys have been added to the unit, they are up to 11. And their percentage is also off the charts since their addition.
Kansas found that out up close and personal. Boatwright with a jumper on the way. You can't knock it down, so both teams a little bit chilly. Temperatures have dipped, by the way, outside the XL Center. Certainly feeling like just about the 1st of January. Here comes Hamilton on the attack, found an open lane, and he will lay it in. First strike of the day.
What a dynamic talent from the freshman, 6'7", 190 pounds, and adds an element that I'll tell you think about some of the great wings and 2s and 3s that have played in a Connecticut jersey. Before it's all said and done for that young man, I think he could be as good as any.
His brother Jordan starred at the University of Texas, and he is certainly the prize of this incoming recruiting class for the Huskies. And a foul here, a whistle with 17:46 to go in the first half. Back to Hamilton on that drive.
Well, you know that Connecticut wants to play with pace. Really poor transition defense by Temple. Why are 2 defenders standing and watching a guy come uncontested for about 65 feet of the 94 of the floor? That's just inexcusable defensively.
Hamilton just picked up the foul, his first, to put DeCozy at the line. He's averaging about 15 points a game. Junior from Union, New Jersey. And he hit 76% of his foul shots. Temple trying to get into the scoring column. DeCozy at 18 against Kansas. 7 for 9 shooting. They have a lot of guys who can really get hot and get on serious runs.
Right, and the 3 guys that we featured against Kansas had 54 of the 77 points. You think Fran would take that kind of productivity against Connecticut today?
I would think. Basie back off to Boatwright, who made the all-final 4 team last year, alongside the great Shabazz Napier. Hamilton with a dribble. Gets it off, and those two, oh, not this time for Brima, but those two have really connected.
Yeah, that's why we mentioned it. That first play, I wasn't sure if it was a lob or a shot. I think he kind of got caught in between, but that play has been consistent between those 2 men.
Brima's 7-footer from Ghana. Likes to play well above that rim. DeCozy bouncing here for Morgan. He'll let it fly and hit the 3.
See, I think you've got to be there on the catch with him. He is not opposed to using one dribble and fading back on his jumper.
Boatwright, the guard who formed half of maybe the best backcourt in America last year. Hamilton off target. Basie has the rebound knocked away. And now here come the Temple Owls trying to pick up their 10th win of the year.
What do you think about the runs that the point guards have had at the University of Connecticut? First Kemba, and I was able to call the Big East Championship games and Kemba's great run. And then Shabazz a year ago. Really extraordinary individual performances. Did
Kemba Walker ever hit a big shot? I mean, there were a couple of times that maybe hit a big shot.
Yeah.
Here's Boatwright, and a little too strong. So like every time he turned around, Kemba Walker was beating somebody at the buzzer. Good drive there by Cummings, and he'll convert. The Swift guard out of Jacksonville, Florida for 2. So now Temple suddenly beginning to warm up. They did that against Kansas. And as you said, we were talking about that game before this contest. They took hold of that like a rabid dog on a piece of meat and just did not let go.
From the outset, you kept waiting for a Kansas team that looked tired to make a run, but Temple would have none of it. They were just from the outset first to the floor, first to make every rebound. It was really what an impressive game for Fran's team.
We have a timeout, 15:40 to go here in the first half. The Temple guards got off to a chilly start, but now they are starting to heat up inside the XL Center. That could be a long day for UConn if that continues. Temple waking up now on a 6-0 run over the last 2 minutes. Back on December 22nd, they pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the season so far over number 10 Kansas. The Owls forcing the Jayhawks into 17 turnovers. Brent DeCozy leading the way with 18 points. And Temple won it. Maybe not so much the fact they won the game, but by the score was a shock. 77-52 was the final score, as you said. Really total domination.
And the court storming. I know Seth Greenberg was on that basketball game, and he's like the court storming police. He said it was a legitimate court storm.
Yeah. So last season, 9-22. They gave up a lot of points. Defensively, a lot better, obviously, so far this season. Playing a very tough schedule, too.
And I think that, you know, a blip on the radar, because you think back over Fran's history, both at Penn and now at Temple, his teams have been sound defensively, always well coached, well prepared. They shot 58% against Kansas, including 65% in the second half alone.
Terrence Samuels, 6'4" sophomore, now into the game. Gives it up for Boatwright with a fall away, but he left it short. Cummings, the point guard, will set it up now for the Owls.
I tell you, it's the rare player who can keep Ryan Boatwright in front. Will Cummings did a nice job getting in a stance and trying to keep Ryan contained.
Catch and shoot, but off target there by Morgan, who's a very good three-point man. Omar Calhoun now into the game. We just saw his sister, who plays for the Duke Blue Devils, losing to the UConn women on this court a couple of nights ago. Brima in close for two.
That's a nice looking move.
That
Boy,
sure was.
I'll tell you, he entered as such a raw talent, and he's only been playing basketball 6 years. Got a little bit stronger. His base is a little bit better. That is a nice back to the basket spin move.
And really one of the best shot blockers in the country. He's blocked 27 of UConn's 43 shots that they have blocked this season. Shot clock down to 11 now for Temple. Cummings wants to make a move. The drive. Brima came over to defend, and a foul on the play. So Cummings will be at the line. Back to Brima underneath on the other end, though.
Well, they have worked with him a little bit on his face-up game, but just a simple cross screen. Nice delivery into the post. I tell you, lost the ball for a second. Pretty good hands to get it back and finish.
Doing a lot of learning. He just committed the foul, so it'll be Cummings to shoot. 79% there. And was a perfect 7 for 7 in the victory over Kansas.
Listen, this is where Will Cummings makes his living. He lives at the free throw line. He is terrific hunting contact in pick and roll situations. Anytime he gets near the rim.
Now more size on now for UConn. Philip Nolan, who's 6'10". He takes over in the center. And Temple with an 8-4 lead here at the XL Center. Up top for Facey. He lost the dribble.
How about Cummings and the job he's doing preventing Ryan from getting the ball back?
Nolan, he'll step and take the hit. He'll go to the line.
Yeah, that's a good decision if you're UConn. Get the ball inside. Feel like you have an advantage with Nolan on the floor.
Foul on Devontae Watson. There's some big bodies at any given moment on the floor here. Watson 6'11". Of course, you have Brimo, and he's in there at 7 feet. Nolan is 6'10". And another one coming for Nolan, who is playing in his 60th consecutive game for UConn. He makes that one. He appeared in every game last season and started every game of the NCAA tournament, including the national championship. Bond doing a good job shredding the defense.
A late clock situation as we start to wind down. This is what they do. They go to a screen and roll for Cummings.
Cummings off the fake. Bond spins and a lot of iron, but it's off the rim, and they'll keep it on this end. Temple will have it.
He's got that kind of touch, Jalen Bond. At 18 rebounds in a game, you look at his frame, he can mix it up. He likes to be a perimeter guy, but I think for Fran Dumpy, that's going to be contingent on whether he's at the 3 or the 4 and who his matchup is.
6'8", 240. DeCosi off the inbounds, can't hit it. UConn right now a little sleepy on the offensive end.
I'm surprised, Dave. You know, they came in this morning, had basically under Kevin Ollie as a full workout on game day.
Which he'll do typically. Kind of get their juices flowing a little bit. Facey, yes. He knocks down a two-pointer.
He also is relatively new to the game and has come a long way in his time at UConn. And you think back over the history of Jim Calhoun, player development skills on the staff of Connecticut have always been really, really good. Facey,
born and raised in Jamaica. Loose ball on the baseline. Cummings, and will give it away. 12:52 to go. ESPN2 Saturday Showcase featuring a Big Ten ACC doubleheader. First at 3:30, Ohio State and Illinois. Then undefeated Virginia facing off against Miami. Both games also on Watch ESPN.
I believe Shane Batty will be at that Virginia-Miami game. You'll see a couple of quality guards for Miami, and they'll need every bit of that guard play against Virginia's defense.
Morgan straight on, not there. Hamilton with the rebound. He really looks to attack, fires, and hits it. Boy, that was quick.
I mean, just really live body, fast, can handle the ball. He can contribute in so many ways. He's got big-time ability. So
UConn jumps into the lead 9-8. Hamilton leading the charge. DeCosi swinging for Morgan. Entry pass, and it's going to be an offensive foul on Bond. Jalen Bond with the personal.
It's the second time this game we've seen Daniel Hamilton go coast to coast in transition. Just takes it off the backboard, realizes nobody's in front of him. Again, poor transition defense. Has to be better communication, and you've got to stop the ball a little bit earlier.
Samuel running the point here for UConn. UConn started 1 for 8. They've hit their last 3 shots, however. 15 to shoot it. Samuel on the charge and knocked away from him. He lost it. He was asking for a foul, but no whistle. DeCosi slicing into the lane. The kick out here for Cummings. DeCosi on the fake. The spin, the fall away. That glances off the iron, but it comes free, and Morgan is the man to lay it in.
Ryan Boatwright at the scorer's table, ready to check back in. It is rare to see him go out of the game that early.
And a quick whistle here with 11:26 remaining in the first half. And we will take the break. Boatwright ready to return to the fray here for UConn, part of that great point guard experience at the University of Connecticut. Well, Temple, the 1-point lead, 11:26 to go here in the first half of the XL Center. You talk about Connecticut. It's really become point guard U, hasn't it?
You could absolutely make the case. 2 of the last 4 years, they've been the Bob Cousy Award winner. Kemba Walker did not start out as a guy who was super productive earlier. Think about the growth, right? They showed some patience. Each of the guys on this list has had to show patience, and they've been rewarded later in their career with this kind of productivity. So what happens when you win an NCAA championship behind a great run by Kemba? Same thing with Shabazz. You've got to start to put together a pretty good run as you tip off conference play if you're Ryan Boatwright.
That's how those guys went out. What a swan song for great point guards at UConn.
And I don't think in either year you would have been at this position in the year, or even at the start of conference play for either Kemba or Shabazz, and thought, oh yeah, they're going to win a national championship.
Coach Ollie, pretty animated right now. Darn good point guard himself. 3rd in school history at UConn in assists with 619. Boatwright off the inbounds. Quick touch. Boy, he is off to a cold start.
Well, nice challenge there by Will Cummings. I think Will has said, okay, I am a senior. I'm going to take the challenge of the senior looking opposite me.
So Temple by 1 and with a basketball. Here's Coleman on the wing. Coleman, like his new teammate Jesse Morgan, just became eligible recently for the 2nd semester after transferring from Clemson. And he is also a Philly kid. They've had 3 Philly kids come back to play for Temple.
Well, if you're going to transfer somewhere, why not transfer home?
And for one of the most highly respected coaches in college basketball, traveling violation. So Nolan gives it back. And right now, clearly the Huskies are just out of sync offensively.
Yeah, and when we walked in here this morning, they were already in a full lather. And I like that idea, especially for young kids on a break from school. Everybody's out of session. Get their juices flowing early. I'm a little bit surprised. You know, Ryan Boatwright is rubbing his right knee on occasion.
Yep. Yeah, a little balky. Maybe he tweaked something. He did come out of the game relatively early, to our surprise. Well, he wasn't on the bench all that long. Long jumper by Bond, and that'll rattle in. Nice touch as he knocks down a 3-pointer.
That's where he'd ideally like to be. He's got inside-out ability. He can make that shot.
So Temple with a 13-9 advantage. Cummings out on Boatwright. Calhoun getting it down for Brima. He pounds it inside, went for the stop, but could not get it to go. He was not as close to the rim as he thought he was. That was part of the problem.
It helps when you bury your defender so deep that your post move is not really as important as where you finish. You can still see he struggles with balance and strength at times.
And Echionia lets that one fly for a three. Obi and Echionia, the 6'9" freshman from Springfield, Virginia. And that brings the crowd to life because all of a sudden it's Temple leading 16-9. And in close for two. So 5-point game. Hamilton with 6. And he's really been the only offensive spark to this point for the Huskies. Echionia again. Not this time. On the run, Bryma beats everyone for the slam.
And again, another connection between those two guys. Off the window by the freshman Hamilton. And that's the advantage of a 7-footer with great north and south speed as Bryma has. You make a great point. You know, we're used to Boatwright being the individual who's the spark offensively. They need to find consistency. That's the whole key for UConn. Can Purvis and Daniel Hamilton be consistent second and third scorers?
Coleman working on Purvis here. Bottled up. Bryma came over, really did a great job. And it's going to stay on this end. Let's see if they go to the monitor here.
Just a sprint, a rim run by Amita Bryma, and the nice pass from Hamilton. This is coming right at you. Just gets his head up immediately, and a 1-2 finish. Nice.
Well, there's only 3 on the shot clock here, so Temple's going to have to hustle. Off the inbounds, the line driver beat the shot clock.
It's Josh Brown.
So 19-13, Temple able to get the shot in the air to beat the shot clock. That's going to be an offensive foul. Purvis trying to get some extra room for himself there. And he picks up his second personal. Boatwright trying to calm everybody down.
So under duress of the shot clock, simple screen. I mean, that's just very good execution off your inbounds. I wouldn't say necessarily great defense. You got to fight harder over the screen. You know they're under duress of the shot clock.
Bryma heading to the bench. Another line driver here, off target by Coleman. He's the man that hit just before the shot clock moments ago. He went for the pick and he got it. Cummings attacks. Bryma's not in there anymore because of foul trouble. And up and in. And once again, Jalen Bond using that size and strength. And a timeout by the UConn Huskies. So Temple has opened up a 21-13 lead over UConn. They're a different team these days. Back in Hartford, Temple with a 21-13 lead on the Huskies. And moments ago, Jalen Bond with a man-sized rebound and a stick back. He just had an 18-rebound game against Delaware State.
At 6'8", 240 pounds, I know there is the temptation to want to be a perimeter guy. You see guys like Dirk Nowitzki and, you know, Kevin Garnett and NBA players who've got perimeter skills with size. But with that frame, he should just be carving space and eating glass.
Boatwright trying to get on target. Offensively, he's off to a poor start. 0 for 4 shooting it. Hamilton up top. On the drive, the shovel pass. Nicely done there. Up and in for 2 for Facey. So Hamilton very unselfish in heavy traffic. And a 6-point lead for the Owls. Brown dishes on the baseline. And stolen away by Boatwright. They get a 3-on-1. Gives it up for Samuel. Here's Purvis. No, he can't finish it. Up to that point, it was a very well-run break.
Well, you know, consecutive plays where the Huskies unselfish, right? The extra pass leads to an easy opportunity. Boy, and Ryan Boatwright, when that guy decides to dig in on the defensive end, he is a game changer.
No, they've been raving about the maturity and the leadership that he is showing with Shabazz Napier, of course, now gone. Here's Brown into the lane. Denied. stout defense on a shot block. Here's Hamilton. And an official whistle. There's going to be a personal foul here against Temple in transition. 6:15 to go in the first half. 21-15 Temple.
Well, Temple up 6 with 6 remaining in the first half. And Ryan Boatwright is having an all-American level productive senior season. But this guy also is senior. He also is a quality point guard. Gets off the dribble drive against Ryan Boatwright. Freezes him with a little hesitation. Attacks the rim, which is his specialty. And more importantly, on this end, listen, containing Ryan Boatwright individually as a defender is not easy. He does that. Off a screen, he goes out and he contests in challenge. And then in transition, a poor decision by Ryan Boatwright turns the opposite direction for Temple. And what a transition for Will Cummings, a guy who has started to mature the deeper he's gotten into his Temple career.
Senior out of Jacksonville, Florida. Named to the Bob Cousy watch list for 2015. List for the best point guards in the country. Where's Boatwright at the very top of that list right now. He's 0 for 4. He has yet to score in this game.
And now he's looking opposite a 2-3 Temple zone.
Samuel cross court, Boatwright there. Purvis high. Hamilton, quick step to his right. Blocked from behind. Off the fake Facey. Here's Samuel. They're not converting those shots in close, are they?
They're doing everything but. They're missing chippy after chippy.
Coleman on the move, and a traveling violation on Devin Coleman, the junior from Philly. Fran Dunphy, 9th year as a head coach at Temple. You realize he teaches an honors course at Temple. Professor Dunphy at the prestigious Fox School of Business each fall. And among his guests coming very soon, Doris Burke. Purvis on a great drive with a right hand for 2.
And that is Purvis' specialty. You look at his upper body. He will play through you at the rim. He's a little less consistent as a jump shooter, but Rodney Purvis as a driver, look out.
NC State transfers, averaging about 10 points a game. Here's Coleman. Launches, but can't hit the 3. Boatwright there for the rebound. By the way, yet another guard who can rebound for Connecticut. Oh, the spin by Boatwright, yes! His first bucket, it was a dandy.
Just capable of the spectacular. Don't let the size fool you. There's plenty of game in that small package.
That'll get the crowd going. Boatwright, a 6-footer. Can also hit the 3-point shot. 21-19. Here's Coleman up top. Temple coming in 9 and 4. They shot 58% in that upset of Kansas. And they made a lot of foul shots, 14 out of 19 foul shots, completely outplaying the Jayhawks in a stunner, 77-52. Today taking on the defending national champs. Hamilton slicing in.
Well, he gets to that right hand. You know he's got a quick first step. He's very explosive. You have got to sit on Hamilton's right hand and force him to put it on the deck in the left.
Brown with a kick out. And Echionia off target, but a foul on the floor before the basket.
As a rake-and-take guard with very little size, you better get to Ryan Boatwright early because he's going to take it off the window, put it in the spin cycle, and go to work on you. Go ahead, Ryan. So good we got to show it twice.
Back in the studio, Brendan Fitzgerald along with Dino Gaudio coming up in the Land Rover halftime report. We'll talk about what we expected to be a tight game in Hartford.
The biggest basket of the half for Connecticut was the spin move Ryan Boatwright just made. They need to get that lad going.
We'll also take a look at what's happening at the Peach Bowl between TCU and Ole Miss. Back to Dave and Doris in Hartford, guys.
Brendan, Coach, thank you very much. Well, New Year's 6 continues today at 4 p.m. on ESPN with number 20 Boise State against number 10 Arizona in the Vizio Fiesta Bowl, followed by number 7 Mississippi State and number 12 Georgia Tech in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Both games also live on Watch ESPN.
Had a great all-access piece with Boise State. Boy, we are wall-to-wall coverage at every bowl game. If you're a football fan, there's nowhere else to be.
Well, I think there are 38 bowls. ESPN is broadcasting 37 of those.
No wonder why you've been working every single day on college basketball.
Here's Morgan with a launch. UConn is on a 6-0 run. Temple has now missed 9 of their last 11. That was knocked away from Purvis. No foul there. It will be UConn ball.
Good strong drive, just a good strong defensive play. And to Dino Gaudio's point, Ryan Boatwright, that spin move we showed going to break, that was his first bucket. He's just 1 for 5. And again, give some credit to Will Cummings for taking on that challenge.
Terrence Samuel try and get it in. Facey jumps into the lane. Made the shot, and he'll go to the line.
Another guy who's come such a long way. 6'9", 206 pound sophomore out of Jamaica. And just a guy who is growing. It feels like every repetition this guy gets, whether in practice or in games, look at nice patience, right? Glenn Miller's the assistant coach. He works with post guys. Just a good, solid power dribble into your comfort zone.
A rebound by Boatwright. So a new shot clock here as Boatwright glances around at Kevin Ollie.
I think if you're UConn, you've got to be really pleased with the defense you've played to this point against what we have seen as an explosive scoring team at Temple at times with those 3 guards. Their defense has been good, UConn.
Samuel stepping on the line as he went for the drive. Well, what do our great talented Sports Center anchors do when they have a day off? Well, Kevin Nagandi comes and watches basketball. Our great friend Kevin here with his family, beautiful little baby and his wife, is taking in the game.
There's a reason you choose sports as your living, right? You can't get enough.
That's right. That's very true of Kevin. Oh, the crowd wanted to walk there on DeCozy. Boatwright is fouled on the play with 2:58 to go before halftime. They were crying for a foul. Tied at 21. And what we expected to be a very, very competitive and close game here in the American Conference opener for both of these teams.
One of the things UConn has worked incredibly hard on through the early part of the season is getting better on the defensive end of the floor. As you see the lack of productivity today for Ryan Boatwright. And defensively, if I'm right, you've got a Temple team shooting below 30% for the half.
Purvis lines one up. He's been off target. Facey battling for the rebound, but taken away by Bond. And when he has it, you're not taking it away.
No.
6'8", 240, and some kind of strong. DeCozy on the drive. Blocked from behind, but a foul by Purvis. So he picks up the personal foul. That'll be number 2.
Well, so a Temple team that's shooting 25%, they lift UConn's defense. They go 1-4 across so that they can get to this play right here. Just straight left-hand drive with everybody lifted above the free throw line allows DeCozy to go to work.
So the 6'5" junior at the line to shoot a pair. Misfiring on the first one. Daniel Dingle now coming on, 6'7" sophomore for Temple. He's from the Bronx. Purvis to the bench with those 2 personals. So a couple of guys they rely on to score. Purvis and Boatwright have not been able to do it in the early going. It's a major reason Temple has the lead, but give the Owls a lot of credit, especially the work that Cummings, as you point out, has done on Boatwright.
He's just battling. Every catch has been difficult for Ryan. When he's had to fight over screens, Will Cummings, he's been able to do it. And give his teammates some credit. How about that at 6'8", 240? A little hedge, and you prevent Boatwright from getting his shoulders turned.
Boatwright gets into the lane, lost it. And a foul. That was a frustration foul on Boatwright.
Well, I'll tell you this, boy. Jalen Bond makes Temple better defensively, okay? Why is Temple so much better defensively? Well, it helps you at 6'8", 240 pounds. You can change the direction of one of the most explosive players in college basketball. This guy is a big time on pick and roll, able to string out that offensive player.
Boatwright is also grimacing a little bit. I got to believe there's something up with him physically because he sat out early in the game for a bit of a stretch. And we have seen a couple of explosive moves. Dingle on the spin. The kick here for Morgan. The leaner. Comes free to Hamilton. He's bottled up and fouled with 1:31 before halftime. And some sarcastic applause from the UConn faithful here inside the XL Center. As the whistle is blown on the foul against Temple.
They're just trying to make sure that the officials know it's, you know, New Year's Eve. Wishing them Happy New Year.
That's what they were saying. Happy New Year's. But we certainly wish that to everyone as Boatwright hobbles off now.
Something wrong with this guy. And he's been going at two places. Right now his left hand is on his left upper thigh, which coming up the floor he was sort of rubbing that area out. We also saw him touching his right leg.
He's been trying to hide it. He's been trying to play through it. Whatever it may be, we hope to get an update on that. In the meantime, Temple clings to a 1-point lead. DeCosi before the shot draws the foul. Calhoun with the personal. And Boatwright needing some treatment. I think the positive here, even though he looks like he's in pain, is that they are not taking him off immediately for the trainer's room. I realize there's only a minute 17, but if it was something more serious, he would already be gone.
Well, you wonder if you want to maybe take advantage of that, because he looks like he's in pain. He keeps leaning back.
He's in some distress, and UConn fans certainly are at the moment. Watching that.
I think he's going to go back to the locker room right now, and I would.
Yes.
Why not? He's not coming back in. Go take advantage of this, you know, because it's going to be, could be as much as 2, 3, 4 minutes.
Yep, so who knows what this may be. Temple with a 2-point lead. Approaching 1 minute before the break. Calhoun to the foul line. 10 to shoot. As Samuel backs it out. Facey setting the screen. Samuel's jumper got a good look, but he could not connect.
Now, can you build on the lead? Can you finish the half strong if you're Temple? Take advantage of Boatwright's absence. Well, Fran Dumpy going to use a timeout, make sure he gets a play he wants.
Well, they took Boatwright to the end of the bench. I think initially they were going to take him to the trainer's room, and he just sat down, and now he's on the floor. Wow. Looks like they're going to try and stretch him out. This an indication to you this may just be a cramp?
Well, the way he was rubbing the upper thigh area on his left leg made it look like it was a cramp, because when you see athletes cramp up, you see them massaging their muscle, and based on this, that they're trying to get some stretching going on.
Now we have a shot here. We'll see if we can pick this up where he may have gotten drilled in the thigh. Boatwright, who's been harassed all game by Cummings. And did he take a shot right there?
Yeah.
Looked like it would have been Jalen Bond.
He sure did.
By accident.
And he's frustrated.
But you know, it was something else even before that.
Agreed.
Because that was only a couple of minutes ago.
Yep.
So he's taking all sorts of shots. And right now, one of the great guards and the great players in college basketball has been rendered ineffective.
And UConn goes into a 2-3 zone.
Shot clock down to 8. Great fake there by Dingle, and he will lay it up and in. Tremendous fake.
Yeah, really pretty move. Just lifts the defense with a ball fake. Fundamentally sound.
So Temple with a 4-point lead. 3 seconds left. The shot from the corner won't fall. And that will do it. 25-21. Boatwright will hobble off now. And Temple with the lead at the break. And we'll get you an update on Boatwright as soon as we can. Brendan and Dino coming your way next in the studio for the Land Rover halftime report. Gentlemen. We welcome you back to Hartford, Connecticut, the XL Center. It's all part of the American Athletic Conference on ESPN. Set for the second half. Temple leads after the first 20 minutes, 25-21, and they are 7-1 when leading at halftime. For the UConn Huskies, worse than that, their All-American candidate point guard, Ryan Boatwright, left the game in the final seconds of the first half. Doors, we have not seen him yet. He has not returned yet to begin the second half.
Since about 5 minutes into the game, we didn't think he looked right. Now, let's give some credit to Will Cummings and the defense that Will and his teammates have played on him. But let's remember, this is a guy who's been one of the most explosive, productive scorers in college basketball. Will Cummings, good individual defense in that particular instance. Fights around the screen, makes this a tough jumper. This is the play where he took a shot to his thigh, a little bit frustrated that he didn't get the call, and then down the stretch, the trainer giving him some sort of attention, trying to stretch him out. Now, while we were coming on here in the second half, Phil Shard, as a sports information director, was about to give a report, so I'm going to let you take over, and I'm going to get that.
Okay, so Doris is off the headset, and we'll get more information as we look at the first half stats. Points in the paint, a big advantage for UConn. They've also turned it over 4 more times than Temple, and here he comes.
So we've just been told that he took a knee actually to the back, and seeing him be stretched out during the course of the game is not atypical. Remember, this is a guy who plays heavy minutes, over 35 per game. And because he's so often at the rim, he's constantly with bodies. But that back looks like it's a little tight for this guy.
He's been troubled by some arthritis. He also apparently took a shot to the thigh earlier, one to the back. He's already been through a war here in the first half. He waited until the last moment to come out onto the floor, but he is starting in the second half for the Huskies. Here's Morgan right away. Off target, rebound loose and controlled by Hamilton. UConn did not score in the last 3 minutes, 37 seconds of the first half.
And Ryan Boatwright is going. He literally the official stopping play because he couldn't go.
And Boatwright hobbled and off the floor again. So just seconds into the second half and off the court and on the floor. Very distressing for the Huskies.
It's a team that's already battled some injuries. The guy with the ball, Purvis, has had his confidence shaken early in the year. Has played well of late, but he missed some games with a high ankle sprain. Samuel will have to be good here in the second half if Ryan Boatwright can't go.
Samuel, a 6'4" sophomore, does not receive a ton of playing time. Of course, last year, as a freshman in the backcourt, loaded with talent, Shabazz and Boatwright and Giffey, he wasn't going to play a whole lot. So today might have to be a big step-up day for him. Morgan out high for Temple. 2-point game, low-scoring game. Bond with a foul away and left it short. Facey with the rebound. Now, it's not going to be Boatwright. And right now, they've got to kind of put their best player out of their mind. Who's it going to be?
Well, you and I were talking at the break. I mean, we love the freshman Daniel Hamilton. He's got so much game. And can Purvis now, who's had back-to-back games, a nice play.
That was Hamilton to Brima.
Yeah, so he can be a playmaker, not only for himself. We've seen him rake and take and get in transition. And look, Kevin Ollie going to try to do it with his full-court defense as well.
Tied at 25. Can't you pretty much throw it anywhere like 3 or 4 feet over the rim and Brima's going to get it?
Yes.
It's not a bad play. And a high likelihood he'll succeed. Cummings gets it inside the lane. And a misfire by Watson. Purvis, the transfer from NC State. He can be instant offense, too.
His average 17 his last couple of games. His confidence has been way up.
Hard drive, airborne, no. Brima fighting for the rebound. It's loose. And it goes out of play. It'll go the other way. It'll be Temple ball.
I like that the officials let that play develop.
Brima and Hamilton, really nice connection. We've seen it a couple of times on behalf of Kevin Ollie today.
Well, there's no reason off a little drive that you can't get by that first defender. The help helps up, and that automatically leaves Brima at the rim uncontested.
Cummings deep in the corner. Here's Bond. The handoff for DeCosi, the jumper, and hit on the play. Fouled in the act of shooting a 3. So he will be at the line for 3 shots. Hamilton not happy with himself, but 2 fouls on the youngster. So it'll be DeCosi at the line at 76% and shooting 3 times. He had an 18-point game against number 7 Villanova, at 18 against Kansas.
And I think if you're Fran Dunphy, And your 3 guys that we came on this broadcast talking about go 3 for 17, and you had to get contributions from these guys. Coleman, I thought, terrific off the bench. Dingle made a nice play. Bond was terrific defensively and contributing on the backboard. You feel pretty good. Your 3 best players couldn't find the rim.
Yep, and yet they had the lead at halftime. And right now, Boatwright nowhere in sight for UConn. We have no idea if he will return. The third one is in and out. Samuel glancing at the bench. It's such a giant leadership void for the Huskies. Boatwright is such a safety net in so many ways. Purvis had to alter his shot. Samuel there. Shot clock down to 14 for the Huskies. Hamilton. Purvis, shot clock to 7. He'll back away. Purvis wants the jump shot. Big rebound, Bryma. And on top of the arm draws the foul. He wanted that basket badly, though.
You can see the difference, though, with Samuel running the point when they run their horn series and the screens at the elbow. See, Samuel's coming off to be a playmaker for other guys. Ryan Boatwright is getting his head and shoulders by typically and making plays at the rim. So they're going to have to find some scorers around Samuel.
DeCozy was second foul. Bryma typically a pretty good foul shooter at 73%. And we'll have another one coming here with 16:50 to go in the second half. The American Athletic Conference opener for UConn and Temple. And hits that one. So Temple by 1. By the way, this edition of the Huskies have lost 4 games. That's already half as many as they lost all of last year. Been beaten by West Virginia, Texas, Yale, and Duke, but all by 11 points or less.
Right, the two threes, one by Yale, one by Texas. Heartbreaking losses for UConn.
And from the identical corner, practically the identical spot. 8 seconds to shoot it. Cummings. That won't drop. Big rebound, Hamilton. He can do a lot of things. Watson took a tumble. Purvis lost the handle on it, but it comes free and one. Facing at the basket. Nifty spin, and he's at the line.
You love the competition right now, and I love that Hamilton is willing to mix it up on the glass because he's got the kind of athleticism to elevate. Ball comes loose, facing right place, right time, and capitalizes.
Jalen Bond with a foul to put him at the line. Basie, the lanky sophomore, to shoot.
Sorry, Dave. If UConn can win this basketball game without Ryan Boatwright in the second half, how much confidence will the pieces around him gain in their ability to affect winning?
Well, they have a 2-point lead without him. They don't want to test that theory on a regular basis, that's for sure.
No. In fact, Kevin Ollie came out with about 50 seconds on the clock, and I thought to myself, if I didn't have Ryan Boatwright, I wouldn't want to come out either.
Oh, pretty shot by DeCozy. Up and in to tie it at 29.
Now, keep this in mind about the Temple guards. Jesse Morgan last game couldn't make a shot in the first half. He made 5 threes consecutively for Temple, so they can get hot and quickly.
DeCozy doing a good job keeping Hamilton from getting inside. Now they snatch it away from him. Cummings on the attack, 3-on-1. Bond to stuff it. The tomahawk.
Open floor turnovers, right? That was something that pinched Connecticut in the game against Duke. There were live ball turnovers, which Duke turned into transition points, just like Temple did.
I think you want to stay out of Jalen Bond's way.
Yeah.
In a fast break like that, but he's the man to dunk it. So Temple by 2. Samuel running the offense right now. Can't penetrate, tossed it away. Basie with a nice save right in front of us. Tried to save it, but out it goes.
Jalen Bond out in transition. How'd you like to have this bearing down on you? 6'8", 240 pounds coming straight at your living room. Go ahead, Jalen Bond. They're up 2.
Well, the journey to the tourney presented by Sonic continues on Big Monday at 7 on ESPN. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish looking to continue their winning ways against the North Carolina Tar Heels inside the ACC. That's Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time.
You want to talk about dynamic playmakers? That's Jerry and Grant for Notre Dame and Mike Bray. And I tell you, if you look down over the list of the most wins all time by program, of course, everybody knows Kentucky, Kansas, North Carolina, Duke, and Syracuse. Do you think it would surprise the casual basketball fan that Temple is right there at number 6?
I bet it would.
Yeah.
But they've had so much success. Not far off Syracuse. Watson flips it up, but a miss. Good save there on the baseline by Bond. Up top for Cummings, and he'll set it up. Cummings fires off the window. High rebound. He tried to tip it. It comes to Purvis. He'll slam it down.
I'd say you like Hamilton as a player. What a good feel. Got his head up immediately in transition.
So tied at 31. Purvis has scored 39 points his last 3 games. He had 44 in his first 6 games. So he's becoming a real factor for Kevin Ollie. You knew he would.
They just got an update from Phil Sharda, Sports Information Director for the UConn Husky basketball team.
Bond lifts.
Deep left thigh bruise for Ryan Boatwright. He is available. It'll be up to Ryan depending on where he is physically. He has received some ice on it, so we'll see whether or not he can return.
Well, he took a pretty good shot and was obviously in a lot of pain. And right now they battle without their best player and the All-America candidate, a co-captain. Remember the All-Final Four team last year, the American Conference preseason player of the year, Hamilton with a miss. So they're going to have to find somebody else. Boatwright 19 points a game. And always a threat to go off for 30. 13:21 to go here in Hartford. DeCozy thought about it. Shot clock at 14. 17-footer draws the foul, and Hamilton got him again. It's going to be number 3 on the freshman.
Listen, he's got to stay. He's got to avoid foul trouble. You wonder, does Kevin take him out here briefly, Hamilton? We were asking Kevin about that earlier. There's certain guys you can trust them. Others you've got to make sure.
Oh, not much there.
Not much there, but he did make contact with the elbow.
Yep.
And so that changed the trajectory, so I think it's the right call.
So DeCozy to shoot. He's averaging about 15 a game, so very much a key man for Fran Dunphy. Owls trying to get back to the NCAA tournament. And it looked very much like they have a group to do that. Calhoun will return, and Hamilton will go to the bench with the 3.
He's so young, and you need to make sure you have a conversation, talking about what you want, making sure when you do step back on the floor that you do not pick up a 4th quickly.
There was a lot of why in the face of Kevin Ollie. Why did you do that? Why are you reaching for him there?
Great point. My guess is he would come back underneath the next TV timeout. So now it's got to fall. I said when we came on that I thought Purvis is one of the keys to their season. Can he be consistent as a scorer? Well, they could use some productivity from him right now.
Spacey has it knocked away. He hits the deck. And a shove here. And a foul to go against Temple.
And if you're Fran Dunphy, that frustrates you. You have a great trap. Shot clock is down around 7. And your team bails out Connecticut with a foul.
That's 3 on Bond. So he'll have to exit. Necchionia, the 6'9" freshman, will come back on. He's the only freshman on the Temple roster, but a top 100 recruit. Riba off for Purvis. UConn looking for a hot hand. The jumper by Cassell Jr. not there, but rebounded by Facey. Went up high for that.
Cassell getting some minutes. He has struggled shooting the ball, and he's not a terrific defender, so this is a big spot for him.
The son of Sam Sr. played 15 years in the NBA. He comes off. 15 to shoot. Purvis got airborne. Had that shot changed by Morgan. Cassell Jr. No. Tapped out by Brima. So it'll be Temple ball here with 12:01 to go.
Yeah, on the season, Cassell is really struggling to shoot the ball. He's below 30%, has two pretty good looks, creates an opportunity for himself, just can't get the jumper down.
Cummings on a tough drive and fouled before the basket. Coming up, it's New Year's Eve, and before we get to 2015, both head coaches will let us in on what their New Year's resolution is. That's when we come back from the break.
My New Year's resolution for my team is multifaceted, I would say. One is that we need to never take a possession off, to make great decisions on offense and be as solid as we possibly can be on defense. And with that, we hope to reach a level of success that will be meaningful.
My team's New Year resolution, of course, is to repeat as national champions, but each and every day, make sure we keep loving each other, make sure we keep encouraging each other, and make sure we keep going to a level 5 on offense and defensive end. And we want to wish everybody a happy New Year's, a safe New Year's, and make sure we love each other and go out there and make it a memorable 2015.
All right, here. I think we both support that. Doris Burke, dying to know, seeing as you are already dressed for the evening, what your New Year's resolution is for 2015.
Well, I certainly won't share that with you, but I can share that I hope to imbibe something as sparkly as this dress tonight before the night's over.
Don't we all? Out of the corner, a three-pointer knocked down to make it 36-31. So Temple opens up a 5-point lead. And again, if you're just joining us, the star for the UConn Huskies, Ryan Boatwright, is out with an apparent thigh injury. Maybe more than just the thigh, but took a shot to the thigh. And right now they're having to do it without him.
They're sort of shuffling in and out with Samuel Cassell Jr. after missing a couple of shots. He goes out now that they come on the offensive end. Can Omar Calhoun, who had a productive game against Central Connecticut, come back with another one and make an impact on this game in the final 11+ minutes?
Samuel gives it up for Calhoun. Now Brima to his right, the hook that rolls in.
Yeah, so they look like they want to play through him, and he's made a couple of terrific back to the basket moves. That little jump hook at his length, it'd be very hard to contest that shot.
UConn winning it in the paint. They have a 24-12 advantage, points in the paint. And trailing by 3, Temple with the ball. Samuel now on Cummings. Cummings did such a great job on Boatwright early. DeCozy, shot clock at 9. He throws it away. Samuel trying to lead the charge back for the Huskies. The leader and a foul. He'll be at the line. He went in strong.
He sure did. He went with purpose.
Foul will be on Anecchionia. That'll be his first.
So Kevin elects to wait a couple of more minutes before bringing Daniel Hamilton in. He'll come in between free throws here.
He has 3 fouls.
And the scorers table is asking for clarification on who that foul was on. That was the delay there.
So Samuel to shoot 64% at the line. He had a very meaningful performance in UConn's 3rd-round NCAA tournament win over Villanova last spring. 11 points. He was 7 for 8 at the line. So he played some very big minutes.
He sure did, and I think as much on the defensive end, his impact was felt in that run. So he was critical. I think his numbers wouldn't tell that story, but down the stretch, very good. 7 for 8 free throws under pressure. How about that?
As you mentioned, Hamilton back on. And one to watch with 3 fouls. Brima hits the bench. 2-point lead.
They put him, interestingly, on the interior defensively. And Anecchionia, he'll be responsible for checking here in the half court.
DeCosi got a quick step. Hands it off. Benechioni will finish that one.
Right, and you saw what he did. I mean, Hamilton wanted no part of going to try to recover and get to his own man because he didn't want to pick up that 4th foul.
Bond also in some trouble. He has 3 fouls. He's been on the bench for a while for Temple. 38-34. Purvis, a very good 3-point man. He hits 40% beyond the arc. He'll shoot. No, he won't. He gives it off for Calhoun. He'll fire and hit the 3.
Wow, that is a big-time shot for a guy who has not been at all productive from 3-point territory on the year. Calhoun came into tonight 1 for 8 from 3.
Well, in fact, today was UConn's first made 3. Down 1. Benechioni, a shot clock down to 11. Long one here, and that'll rattle in for Morgan.
Yeah, he can really get it going, and good patience. Defender flies by. He just was waiting patiently to get himself a jumper. That was nicely done. Now you've got to be sure you are there on the catch from Morgan, because I'm telling you, Dave, he can really get it going.
Samuel for Nolan. Nolan wants to attack, put on the brakes. Calhoun slithering in off the window. And a foul that'll be against UConn. Nolan went in strong. 8:44 to go.
Calhoun has missed so much time with injury. To be able to respond with that 3 in this moment, and then the response. The gamble defensively by UConn, the patience by Morgan, and an uncontested 3 to answer.
Nolan just picked up his first foul. DeCosi. 8:20 left here in Hartford. 9 to get off a shot. Dingle over the top. Benechioni tried to save it. He did. Shot clock down to 3. Now to 2. No whistle there, and it's going to be a shot clock violation. So no basket and no foul.
And Fran is having a discussion with the official saying there's got to be a whistle there somewhere.
UConn will take a timeout. 8:09 remaining. Still no Boatwright, but Temple with a 4-point lead on UConn. Temple with a 41-37 lead. The professorial Fran Dunphy at work.
Well, this is the play I thought there should have been a foul call against UConn. It's a baseline drive. I thought Nolan got there late. There was no whistle. And Fran Dunphy made his point quickly to the official. Then when we went to the timeout, he hit him again and wanted an explanation. To me, that's a big non-whistle. And so we'll see, can UConn capitalize here and get a little bit closer. But you love that about Fran. He's going to make his point, but he's not going to continue to berate the official.
Samuel up top here for Hamilton. It was returned despite 3 fouls. The swing and picked off here by Morgan. And he'll take it in all by himself for 2.
Just terrific anticipation.
Temple's defense has been stout today.
Well, both sides. You've got a Temple team shooting 31% and somehow winning the ball game.
There's only one figure in the game that really pops out at you, and that's the fact that Morgan's the only double-figure scorer. Calhoun right back up and in. Tough rebound.
Yeah, bulldog mentality there. Strong drive, sticks with it.
Brima going to the scorer's table. A 7-footer to get back in it for the Huskies. DeCosi, a lot of contact. So an offensive foul on DeCosi. 7:11 to go.
Nip and tuck. Here we go. The opening of conference play. Little play on the defensive end. Great anticipation by Jesse Morgan. Trying to keep Temple out front.
Temple by 4. The question, will Ryan Boatwright return? Will you be the judge? Take a look at that. Hobbling his way from the tunnel. He's coming back onto the bench. Here's how it happened. The injury to that thigh in the first half.
Well, it's been a tough afternoon for him from the jump. He tries to cross over between multiple defenders, gets kneed in that thigh. we noticed it right away. From the outset, early in this basketball game, didn't look right. Then he gets hit there. Second half, he comes out, plays very limited minutes, ends up looking over at the bench, calling for a sub, and we haven't seen him since.
So he spent most of the second half in the trainer's room. You see he has the jersey on now. Just a half minute of play in the second half. 2 points for the star, who averages 19 a game. They're going to have to go without him. Picked off by Cummings. Now the 3-on-1 for Temple. Bond mishandled a pass, and out it goes. And a big break for the Huskies.
That is a crucial play where you come away with nothing. You had terrific numbers, great advantage. Bond's got to get back in it now. He sat for a while because of those fouls, Dave, but you got to get yourself immersed back in mentally quickly.
Here's Purvis. Will he start to percolate? He almost gave it up. And a whistle on the baseline with 6:36 to go, and a foul against Temple. And they'll get Cummings for that. So that'll be his first. UConn to check it in on the baseline. Purvis on the spin. Can't connect, and another whistle and another foul.
Is this on Bond here?
If it is, it'll be his fourth.
I think they are going to get him, and that's trying to contend with Amita Brima near the rim.
So Brima will be at the line. 4 fouls on Jalen Bond, their top rebounder.
I'd take him out again.
A lot of time.
Yeah, and he hasn't been locked in mentally, I don't think so. Not yet. Here comes Dingle.
Daniel Dingle, 6'7" sophomore, to replace Bond, the big junior. And Brima to the line. The co-captain, only a sophomore. In addition to English, he also speaks French and 4 African languages. Along with the fact that he can block some shots.
Yeah, not bad at that. His timing is exceptional. Let's see, does Jesse Morgan get a basket here? He's 3 for 4 in the second half after going 2 for 7 in the first.
Dingle trying to contribute immediately up and over Brima, who thought about it but stayed away.
Yeah, and he should have, because that ball had reached its apex. Nice job by Dingle understanding the length of Brima and putting a little bit more on his floater.
6 minutes to go. Temple has caught fire that hit 5 in a row. Hamilton, no answer. Morgan with the rebound. So now you sense that UConn really needs Boatwright at this moment, and he can't go with that injury in tremendous pain. And Temple may take over here in the last 5.5.
So now you run your offense, try to get to that second, third, fourth option. There's going to be a foul out front.
That'll be on Cassell. Well, the college football playoff kicks off on New Year's Day on ESPN. Back-to-back semifinals. First at 5. Number 2 Oregon squares off against number 3 FSU in a Rose Bowl presented by Northwestern Mutual. Then at 8:30, top-ranked Alabama takes on number 4 Ohio State in the All-State Sugar Bowl.
Urban Meyer versus Nick Saban. It was a great story that Nick Saban told on ESPN. His wife, when Nick was taking his first head coaching job at Toledo, Urban Meyer calls, talks to Nick Saban's wife, and Nick's wife says, "You better hire this guy, he's brilliant," and it didn't happen. How about that?
Leccioni in close, and a whistle here, and that's going to be a foul, an offensive foul.
I'd say Mrs. Saban has got a pretty good eye for talent, or ear for talent, as the case may be. That's a big play there defensively. Yeah, this is huge. If you're UConn, you need to string together stops. So a really good job in rotation defensively.
Dingle had the look on his face, someone who had knocked over a glass vase in a jewelry store or something, was hoping it didn't hit the floor and no one heard it.
That's great.
Approaching 5 minutes to go. Purvis in the attack here. Samuel. That's not there. Oh, it rolls in. How about the spin on that to fall in?
Well, how about Calhoun, the job he's done on the glass off his own miss in one instance, and he's got blood on his eye. I think he took a pretty good shot in there, mixing it up on the rebounds.
Yeah, he's cut and bleeding near the left eye.
He looks like a fighter right now.
He's given them a really nice lift, Omar Calhoun.
I'll tell you, what a long road it's been for this guy. It's such a solid freshman season in terms of points scored. And he goes after this offensive rebound. Look at him among the big bodies. Yes.
So a 4-point lead for Temple. 4:40 left. Echionia will give it up back to Cummings, who runs the point. He's a 14 points a game scorer. Cummings fires, got it.
Now, late game, and this is something when Kansas made what was a mini run. Will Cummings was terrific on pick and rolls down the stretch. Got to imagine that Fran is comfortable with the ball in his senior's hand to make plays.
Samuels jumping in, blocked out of the sky, and Echionia with a terrific defensive play. That was mindful of an Amita Brima block shot.
That's a big-time block. And you have done a sensational job. And Echionia, it's just flowing right off your tongue.
Practicing on the flight from Ohio State yesterday.
Now look at them spacing the floor, making sure that UConn's got a long recovery on any help situation. Here comes the late screen and roll.
Shot clock at 7. Cummings, airborne. Brima there, and now they'll get some numbers. Hamilton. In close, no. Loose ball and battle. It comes to Purvis. And Purvis is fouled. 3:24 to go. And a low-scoring game and a real grinder here.
Yeah, and Echionia, the only freshman on the roster for Temple, going to erase a mistake by the dribble driver twice in the pipes. Temple by 6, and for Jesse Morgan, it can be a little bit hot and cold at times. We said he was 2 for 7 in the first half. That was one of the jumpers from the first half. He's got some range, little follow put back in that instance. He's got good size. In the second half, he's been far more efficient. Rattles home a 3, makes a play on the defensive end, and giving them enough productivity for a little bit of a cushion here.
13 points for him, and still the only man in double figures. And the first one up and good for Purvis, who hit 79%.
I wonder if he makes his second, will they come with some full court pressure?
Boatwright on the bench. Does not appear he will return to this game. He only played a half minute in the second half. Big rebound and heavy traffic there by Facey. A tie up there. UConn has the possession arrow.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't care where it is, whether it's in live action or off free throws. You better check out Mr. Facey. He is fast to the ball. He has been terrific as a rebounder for Kevin Ollie.
Sophomore from Jamaica, grew up playing soccer and cricket. Came to the U.S. just 3 years ago. 5-point lead here for Temple. And now Bond is back on with the 4 fouls. And Echionia will hit the bench. And a timeout for the Huskies with 3:21 to go. So low-scoring 5-point game. Temple with the lead. And a gimpy Ryan Boatwright unable to help because of taking that thigh shot. A knee on the left thigh.
And they're piecing it together right now at that point guard position. Samuel's been in at times. Sam Cassell Jr. has been in at times. Rodney Purvis has had the ball in his hands. And they're going to have to zig and zag here down the stretch in order to try to come away with a win.
Temple already with one terrific victory over Kansas. That stunning upset. At least the score was 77-52. But what some who covered that game maybe lost in the shuffle a bit was they had Jesse Morgan finally back.
Yes.
After he had transferred from UMass. They had Devin Coleman back after he had transferred from Clemson, and they were finally eligible.
Well, and I'll tell you this, they win this game on the road, then next week you wonder if perhaps they start getting some votes, because they'd be 10-4, and voters would start to take into consideration they weren't whole in that difficult non-conference schedule.
No question. And a very tough schedule indeed. Well, both of these schools play a challenging non-conference schedule. They don't back down on the spin. Hamilton not there. Another scrap for the rebound. Trying to get out of there, and up ahead it comes to Morgan.
But good patience, though. Don't panic with the trap there. Just use your pivot foot. Find somebody in a red jersey.
Hamilton slapped it from behind, and now he'll get it back. He gives up for Brima, and a stuff. Oh, he took a nasty fall. Hit on the play, but he is up.
Did they have yeah, they got a whistle, but it was Brian Kersey, the last official up the floor, who blew that whistle. Didn't appear to me they were going to give him an N1. I was going to be horrified.
You're right. I think both of us might have taken the court to make sure they did on that one.
Well, just terrific defensive play by Hamilton. And to get out in transition, I mean, that's dangerous. He really hit that stanchion hard. What a nice connection those two have. You see the contact, which takes his legs out from underneath them.
Josh Brown with the foul, so Brima to the line.
Good job by Brian Kersey to step in and blow that whistle as the trail official.
Brima with 11, so he's helped out on the offensive end. Give him 12, and now it's a 2-point game.
Yeah.
Well, that could be the biggest play of this game. That could be a giant play. Offensive foul on Cummings. He knocked back Purvis. 2:28 to go. And Temple takes a timeout.
I think a good timeout. Your team is coming apart a little bit here. And so if you're Fran Dunphy, you want to settle them down, have a conversation. You have got experienced guards on Temple's roster. Jesse Morgan, the transfer from UMass. He's in his final season of eligibility. You see that Calhoun now has a bandage over that eye. Cummings is a senior. DeCosi has played big minutes a season ago as a highly productive scorer. You've got to pull yourselves back together if you're Temple here.
Win or lose, I think both of these teams are going to know they were in a fight today.
Yes. Yes, no doubt
check out
about
the UConn huddle. I mean, Boatwright's limping around, and Calhoun has the cut over the eye.
Yeah, and now where do you go on the offensive end if you're Kevin Ollie? They run such great stuff. You wonder if they see their horns series. They have a little wheel series. Samuel, yeah, Samuel's going to inbound to Purvis. So does Purvis initiate the offense here?
Temple a 2-point lead, but UConn with the ball and a chance to tie or take the lead. Here's Brima on the high post. Basie. Knocked away. A clean theft by Morgan. Done that a couple of times in the second half. He can't make the leaner, but he'll be at the line.
So they go to some flex action. So Kevin Ollie in that instance, in need of a basket without Ryan Boatwright, you went to your flex to try to get it off movement. Well, look at this. I mean, flex is something that every defender has seen. He anticipates, jumps the passing lane, and gets himself to the free throw line. That's just, see what I said about experience? Talking about a guy in Jesse Morgan who's been around college basketball a long time, and that play is indicative of it.
Transferred from UMass. The NCAA gave him 1 semester of eligibility, and that semester began, the second semester beginning on December 18th. That one knocked out of play. It'll be UConn ball. So he joined the lineup just a couple of weeks ago to play the second semester. Approaching the 2-minute mark. Temple by 3. Up top for Samuel. Purvis down the lane. Knocked away from him and out of play by Temple. 1:57 to go.
You could see Purvis. He had a little wry smile because he knew he had gotten by. One thing he should try to do on those drives is tuck the ball away like James Harden does. Tuck it away. Almost like a running back. Poor pass.
That was intended for Brima. For a change, it didn't get there between those two. From the corner, Morgan. Got it! A big 3. Man, he's hit some big shots here in the second half.
You better make that shot. You've got the lead, the ball, and you're working clock, so you better be confident you can make that jumper.
51-45, and Morgan with great confidence.
What did Fran tell us right before the game? He said, you've got to live with some of this guy's, you know, risk-reward plays that he makes. This is a case in point. I mean, Fran Dunphy said this to us about half an hour before tip. This is one of those moments as a coach coverage where the ball's in the air and you are ready to rip him if he misses it.
No, that could not have been more in the bottom of the barrel. Well, ESPN2 Saturday Showcase features a Big Ten ACC doubleheader. First at 3:30, Ohio State takes on Illinois, and then it's the undefeated Virginia Cavaliers facing off with Miami.
Ohio State will have to rebound off of the game you saw yesterday. Iowa going into Columbus and getting that win.
A very, very tough place to win a game.
Big win. Look, good friend, like, coaching's not easy. Your livelihood is in the hands of 18 to 22-year-olds.
But when they can shoot like Jesse Morgan, you feel a little bit better.
I guess.
That was nothing but net. 51-45. Here's Hamilton. And the turnover moments ago. It led to the basket. Long one here, Purvis. That's too strong. He shot that from about 24 feet, but a whistle here. And a foul will be on Brima.
When we came back from the under 4 timeout, you said huge leadership void for the Connecticut Huskies. For Kevin Ollie, I think that last shot by Purvis was indicative of that leadership void, right? That's not the kind of shot Connecticut would have gotten with Boatwright on the floor.
Bond at the line, and this is usually an adventure. Only 28%. So a break for the Huskies. Samuel with a high dribble, airborne, lace it in, but he went down, and he is hobbled. He's going to have to stick with Cummings here. Looked like he may have turned the ankle a little bit.
It hurt less because it went in.
Yes. 4-point game as we approach 1 minute to go in Hartford. Cummings with Samuel on him again. Looks like his ankle is bothering him, and now whistle and a foul with exactly a minute to go. So that'll be number 4 on Hamilton. It's back to that play. And that's where he may have twisted it. As he went rolling over, but he had to get up and play defense. So it'll be DeCozy at the line for a 1-and-1.
Well, they're really leaving a window open here because of their inability to convert. And Kevin Ollie will use the timeout to make sure
no basket.
Yeah, the shot that they get is better than in the last series they ran.
55 seconds to go. And if you're just joining us, if you're just tuning in, Ryan Boatwright, the American Conference preseason player of the year. Connecticut's top scorer, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, Mr. Everything. Lost inside the first minute of the first half because of a thigh injury. They thought he might be troubled by a back. He also has a little arthritis. He had a lot of problems today. He was trying to battle through, but could barely play in the second half. Just 2 points. He averages 19 points a game.
Well, he was 1 for 5. It's been a tough afternoon all around. Will Cummings, I thought, was terrific defensively in guarding Ryan Boatwright, but this is the play where he got kneed in the thigh. He crossed over between multiple defenders, frustrated with the non-call, in obvious pain throughout. And then he goes off the floor. Second half, he plays very briefly, Dave, and then has to go to the bench. Signals right away, I can't go here.
And he has been unavailable since then. He returned to the floor, but then he pulled on the warm-up jersey, and he's been lost for the game. He's looked despondent.
Yeah.
He's looked down ever since he had to come back, unable to help. So here we are with less than a minute to go. UConn's best player on the bench, one of the best players in the country, unavailable.
Now, the last time UConn was in need of a bucket, they went to their flex action. Okay, so you don't have the creator, as dynamic a creator in Ryan Boatwright, so you went to get it off movement. Now what?
Omar Calhoun is now wearing number 55 because he had blood on his jersey to number 21 previously, and the whistle and a foul stops the clock.
Okay, the initial strip was clean. There was contact after, but that whistle was blown before there was contact.
That's 4 on Cummings.
Well, I thought he knocked that ball loose clean.
So it'll be Hamilton to shoot. The freshman from Los Angeles only makes 56%. 0 for 1 today. Knocks down the first one. He attended Kevin Ollie's alma mater in Los Angeles, Crenshaw High, the famous Crenshaw.
Kevin has, in fact, threatened to go all Crenshaw on him at particular moments in games.
Basie coming back on, and Calhoun to the bench. And Hamilton with another one.
Now, the last time they made the free throw, UConn came with some pressure, and they will again. This time they're full court man, not their zone pressure.
Cummings. They'll slow things down. 40 seconds left.
They keep it spaced, and typically speaking, you'll see a late screen and roll action. Fran Dunphy will again call a timeout.
Stops the clock with 36.2 to go. You know, UConn has been down this road before a couple of times,
yes,
where they have had their hearts broken on last-second shots. The loss is November 30, final seconds. Jonathan Holmes with a baseline three as Texas wins it 55-54 in stores. And just days later now, on the 5th of December against Yale, Yale's Jack Montague with a corner three with 1.7 on the clock for a 45-44 surprise upset.
And Morgan had the late three here that gave him a cushion. Now there's a little bit more time. That Jonathan Holmes play, I was watching that game live. The first 25 seconds of defense by UConn was terrific. Rick Barnes had to call the timeout, and their execution off the sideline inbounds was exceptional. So now where does Temple go? Every time I've seen him in late clock, late play situations, it's been a screen and roll with Cummings.
Dingle trying to bounce in. He does for Cummings. Cummings, a senior point guard. .15 to shoot. Shot clock down to 10. The swing here. Dingle, the shooter. Can't hit it. High rebound. The free man is Purvis. And he stuffs it to tie the game. Tied at 51. 10 seconds left. Cummings. Dingle again on the baseline. And can't get it to go. Here's the heave. It'll be well short, and this game is going to overtime. Some great defense by the Huskies down the stretch.
Well, you had bad floor balance defensively by Temple once Cummings went initially off the high screen. That led to an easy bucket the other way for UConn on the leak out. And we show you the play by Purvis. So off the screen and roll, Dingle pops. Cummings had already gone at the rim. Dingle, there was no help defender in place. Temple gets caught sleeping. They have one more opportunity. And you see Cummings tries to pass to the window. It leads to a baseline drive. No whistle on the drive. A final heave, and we go to OT. A really good look off the pick and pop for Dingle.
And Dingle had their last two shots in regulation. So it's on to overtime for Temple and UConn. It's the first overtime game this season for both teams.
3 timeouts, didn't use one, which philosophically, as a coach, you either take it and allow the defensive team to set, or you don't and you let your senior point guard try to make the play.
Now look at Ryan Boatwright in there, almost acting like another coach.
Yeah.
Inside that huddle. That's all he can do right now.
I'll tell you, you've got to feel really good if you're Kevin Ollie about the response. And you know, a lot of times there's talk about the Ollieisms, right? All of those little sayings that Kevin Ollie has 10 toes in. Greatness is never on discount. The escalator is for cowards. You know, he preaches character all the time. To me, the second 20 minutes of this game has been about character. They're piecing it together without Ryan Boatwright.
So I'm taking the stairs from now on if escalators are for cowards. I feel chastised, and I don't even wear a Connecticut uniform. So 5 minutes up on the clock. Well, yeah, indeed, if Connecticut can pull off this game, because they were trailing with a big chunk of the second half to go, and it looked like it might be a lost afternoon, but if they can win it without Boatwright, well, that's a huge statement for them.
And there have been a couple of times where Omar Calhoun, who's had a rough go of it, over the course of the last year plus, has made really critical plays. A couple of opportunities where on misses, his own or somebody else's, he's gone in and dug out some rebounds and put a second chance point back. Those are the kinds of contributions you have from unexpected areas that you need in order to grind out this kind of win.
Jesse Morgan with 17 to lead all scorers. And Amita Brima is the only double-figure scorer for Connecticut with 12 points and 6 rebounds. But Hamilton has 11 rebounds along with 8 points. Quick whistle here just 2 seconds into the overtime. Tied at 51. And so Temple will now have the ball, and they'll bounce it in from the sideline.
But for two teams here, Temple ends that regulation period shooting 34%. UConn's just 40%. But it's been an entertaining second 20 minutes.
A low-scoring game, but we're into overtime. Bunch of overtime games yesterday on ESPN. DeCosi has it knocked away. So it'll be Temple ball. Well, not a bad lid lifter inside the American Athletic Conference for both of these teams. Morgan. Here's DeCosi. Hamilton sticking right with him. Cummings. And Echionia won't shoot it. Gave up the dribble. Shot clock's at 5. On the move, Morgan. Oh! Amita Brima stuck with 3 on the shot clock.
It's just so long. It closes. His timing is terrific.
It's his 29th block of the season. No other Husky has more than 5. Gonna get it off quickly, and they do. And a stop by Echionia. Great inbounds play to give Temple the lead. 53-51 Temple. Basie setting the screen for Hamilton. His jumper on target. Ties it at 53. We are in overtime in Hartford. Hamilton with a double-double. That's the second of his young career. He's going to have a bunch of them.
No question about it.
Nearly had the theft at midcourt. DeCosi goes down. And a timeout, Temple.
Wow, great call from the sideline. Wow. That saves a possession if you're Fran Dunphy. Quick. He recognized it quick.
53-53 in the OT with 3:45 remaining.
Watch this inbounds pass. This is a little switch out that ends up costing Connecticut a basket, because just watch this area right here. What's going to happen is Echionia is going to get an opportunity easy, okay, because you're running a little stagger screen. The post guy, Facey, switches out, but he doesn't communicate with Hamilton, and that leads to an easy basket inside.
And again, Echionia, the only freshman on the roster for the Temple Owls. A lot of seniors and juniors. We've got Sports Center coming up next. Seemed like every other game yesterday, college basketball game on ESPN, went overtime or double overtime.
So what a great afternoon. It was interrupting my preparation for this game because I couldn't keep my eyes off the TV.
Well, becomes a problem.
Yeah, it does. And what a way for Florida State to win a game at home on a heartbreaking play by Florida.
And tipping in the shot in the final seconds, tipping into their own basket.
Yeah, Jacob Kurtz, you know, he had played so well, former walk-on, difficult environment. You and I have been down there many times. Big win for Florida State.
Yep. And a big rivalry game. Well, the Temple leading scorers, Morgan is 17, DeCosi with 9. And again, UConn with only 1 man who is into, now 2 men who are into double figures, because Hamilton has broken through along with Amita Brima. And Facey has 9. Neither team has shot it terribly well. 41.5% for UConn, 35% for Temple. Although we have credited the effective defenses on both sides. It's just been that kind of a game, a real grinder and a real scrappy kind of a basketball game.
Kevin Ollie giving his guys some last-minute instructions here. Off the timeout, can you get Jesse Morgan a shot? He's been your most productive guy.
Now both of these teams trying to leave 2014 with a nice victory. Only one will be able to do it. But Echionia gives it up for DeCosi. Quick step to his left, drives the lane, blocked by Brima.
Boy, what a mistake eraser he is. Co-captain is a young man because of his work ethic, just comes over.
Well, he's reminding everyone with that index finger, 1 second left on the shot clock, and Temple will take the timeout to set up a play.
And I think he should, because you've got to be on point with this. Wouldn't be surprised if you see a little quick trigger screen. You've got enough time to catch and shoot. It's not a situation where you necessarily have to lob it.
3:26 remaining in the overtime, tied at 53.
Yeah, we talked in the open about there are new roles for this Connecticut team, but there are some parallels to be drawn. Well, we talked about Ryan Boatwright having to be Shabazz Napier. Well, he's out with injury. We talked about Rodney Purvis being key. He hasn't been as productive as you would hope today necessarily as a running mate, but this guy, I'll tell you, you said it when we came on this broadcast. If you've not seen this freshman play, what a talent for Daniel Hamilton. He's been more than an X factor today. All the other guys contributing. Hamilton's got 10. Brima with 12. Facey, 9.
Hamilton not only with that double-double, but 5 assists. The tip, and there goes the shot clock. Well, the crowd wanted the run out on the other end and wanted an easy basket, but it was a shot clock violation.
They've not been pleased with the striped shirts all afternoon.
But UConn will have it, an opportunity to regain the lead. Purvis, who really hunts his shot. That one out. And it will be Temple ball.
It's the wrong angle to make that pass from. Purvis needed to keep his dribble alive, get himself down below the free throw line, and then either bounce it so it comes up into the chest of Brima or put it on the money. But don't try to make that pass from that angle, Dave.
Hamilton out on Morgan, trying to contain him. Under 3 to go in overtime. DeCosi, Purvis bodies up and fouls it.
See, the crowd doesn't like it, but this is how they've changed college basketball. There was a lot of discussion about it becoming too physical a game. So whether the crowd believes it or not, this is the officials doing their job. On any drive, on a face-up situation, there can be no contact.
So it'll be DeCosi at the line. 78%. Spent a lot of time there today, and he makes another one.
Do you agree with the change? Because I know I talked to Tom Izzo earlier. As you see Kevin Ollie sort of looking through his note card, thinking, okay, as we come down the offensive end, what play call do I want? But do you agree? Because I know Tom Izzo does not necessarily agree with the changes that we've seen in terms of the physicality.
And I can totally get that from a Big Ten coach who loves to play as physically as Tom and as much success as he's had. But I do agree with it. I thought the game had been mucked up for too long and needed to be cleaned. So I'm all for it. A reach around foul there by Morgan.
Oh, why? Why? You're too old. You're too experienced. Why? You know, it's not like UConn has been executing with great precision. Why would you reach around and put a guy right here to the free throw line? It's a silly foul.
And a good foul shooter. Purvis at 79%. Number 1 on Morgan, the senior. But he's short on the first one.
And Morgan is barking at himself. He just as Purvis even missed the free throw, he was upset.
Purvis just 3 for 10 shooting and misses both foul shots.
Wow.
Usually a much better shooter than what we've seen today. So Temple still leading it by 2. Cummings to run the point. 2:20 left in overtime. And Caccione up to set a screen. Cummings driving off the window. Looked like he had to adjust because Bryma was coming out of nowhere. Hamilton tried to save it, but he can't do it. And Temple will have it. So seeing some sloppiness here for Kevin Ollie's team in the OT.
So they're switching any action on the perimeter, and that at times puts some difficult pressure on your bigs. But Facey's he's got the lateral quickness to guard the guards on switches.
Two minutes left in overtime. Bond swings here. Morgan. DeCosi wants the lane. Got it up again, too high off the window. That was certainly the Bryma factor. Hamilton. That won't drop. Battle for the rebound. Morgan came away with it.
That's a big-time rebound in traffic. He just timed that better than anybody in a white jersey. That's a man's rebound right there.
Morgan with 17 and 6 rebounds. He'll catch, fire, can't bury it. UConn wins it back again. A chance to tie or take the lead.
Who wants it? Who wants to have the responsibility right now for UConn of taking that shot?
Boatwright out with a thigh injury. Only played 30 seconds of the second half. Samuel back to Purvis. He glances at the clock. 1 minute left in overtime. Purvis hunting the shot, drives it, blocked. DeCosi got a hand on it. Facey can't hit it. Boy, he had a wide open shot.
Wide open uncontested look on a second chance opportunity. Now you can use as much clock as you can, unless of course it goes to Justin Morgan, and you never know when he's going to pull the trigger. UConn
has the possession arrow, each side with 1 timeout remaining. 35 to go in overtime, and a timeout for Temple. So Fran Dunphy uses his last time outdoors.
No, exactly. And he's had to use a few. One, remember, with the 1 second on the clock, wanted to make sure he got that one right.
So there's our reset. Possession arrow belongs to Connecticut. 34.6 to go in OT.
A couple of things here. If you're Fran, you're not only coaching what you want from this offensive possession, you're also coaching what you want on the defensive end, make or miss. So if you happen to make a basket here or get to the free throw line, I would assume that somebody would come with a little bit of soft pressure so that UConn can't come up the floor uncontested, right? You want to make UConn actually make or miss, use some of these 34 or whatever will be left once they regain possession to get it back. Because we have seen on multiple occasions here this afternoon, and it's cost Temple late, we've seen bad defensive floor balance that has led to what? Leak out transition opportunities for UConn.
Well, let's go back to the end of regulation and how we got to the overtime.
Well, this is a case in point. It's the pick and pop play for Jalen, and look at it. Look at that bad defensive floor balance, right? Because the shot came from an unexpected place. This was the last second opportunity, the drive that didn't go in the heat, but that was the case in point. I mean, it cost them the regulation win because they had bad floor balance.
Meanwhile, Kevin Ollie looking for someone to score, as UConn has not scored since 4:04 in the overtime. So in the first minute of the overtime, last time they scored, Temple's only 1 for 7 in the OT. UConn 1 for 4.
They have not deviated down the stretch, and this is what you saw late against Kansas, which was the ball's in Cummings' hands. They keep the floor spaced, and they come with a late screen and try to play off his penetration.
Temple does have to get a shot up in the next 12 seconds with the shot clock in effect here. That's down to 9 now. Cummings with a fall-away jumper, going to be well short. Rebound popped right to Facey. Looking for a guard now. 15 seconds left. And a timeout. Kevin Ollie with 13.3 to go. And trailing by 2 in the first overtime.
Could go to a second one here. They're going to have an opportunity. And does Kevin Ollie put the ball into Rodney Purvis's hands?
But he's been a cold shooter.
He has been a cold shooter. There was some frustration a possession ago when he wasn't attacking as quickly as Kevin Ollie would like. Well, now you've got to make sure not only do you get the first look, but that you give yourself an opportunity to foul if you miss it and don't get the rebound, or at least an opportunity for that second shot. I would go as quickly as possible here if I'm UConn. I want this to be a quick hitter play because I'm down 2, and if I need multiple opportunities, if I need to put them on the foul line and give myself another chance.
You know, Hamilton's such a creative kind of scorer. He is a freshman, but he's also 6'7". They're going to use Purvis to inbound the ball.
Yeah, and you know, you're at home. There's some thinking that goes, if you're on the road, you go for the 3 in the win because you don't want to play. I want to score, and however I think my best opportunity is, that's where I'm going.
It's in for Samuel. 10 seconds left. Here's Purvis. 5 to get it up. Hamilton off the fake, gets a look and throws the foul. He got hit on the play. Right now, no time remaining, and the youngster Hamilton fouled in the act of shooting. He's fouled by DeCozy.
So the officials are going to take a look at this. One, I think at least a second's going to go back on the clock. It seemed to me that that whistle blew before that buzzer sounded.
So this will be 3 shots. Fouled in the act of firing up the 3. Purvis had to adjust.
Well, that angle doesn't necessarily show, but I thought he was definitely behind the arc. Yeah, and there's the pass over. Good challenge initially. His feet are behind the arc, easily seen. The whistle, look at where the arm goes up of the official. So there's going to be a couple ticks on the clock.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Right now it says 0s, but we're positive that they'll put time on the clock. But in the meantime, how about this? Daniel Hamilton, the freshman from Los Angeles, is going to the line to shoot 3 times in overtime here in Hartford, with his team trailing by 2 to Temple.
Now, you had mentioned it, but he scuffles here a little bit. He's 9 for 16 coming into the day from the free throw line, just 56%. They are going to put 2.8, which is exactly what we thought on the clock.
I mean, nobody around him. He's just wandering around the center of the court. It's almost like a pitcher in the midst of a no-hitter. No one's talking to him.
Right, a man alone with his thoughts.
At the line here, so they've set the clock at 2.8 seconds. Let's see how the freshman responds. 2 for 3 today at the line. Strong on the first one. So he must make the next 2 to tie the game. Misses the first 2.
Okay, so now is he trying? I would miss this, and you are trying, if you're Brima and Facey, to use your length to go and get it.
Here's number 3. Missed it on purpose.
And he commits a violation.
Into
That's a young mistake.
He jumped into the lane, so he winds up missing all 3. So Daniel Hamilton with a chance to tie or give his team the lead, misses all 3. 2.8 seconds remaining. No timeouts remaining for either team. And a foul.
Yeah, going to be a hold off the ball.
So that'll send Temple to the line here in overtime, leading 55 to 53. And it'll be Cummings to the line, a very good foul shooter. Remember, he's the one who went 7 for 7 in the victory over Kansas at the line. So Hamilton with some work to do at the line. He came in as a 56% foul shooter.
The senior calmly steps up and makes the first. This would be the crucial one to make it a 2-possession.
And rolls that one in. 57-53. Samuel to launch. A long one on the way. He can't hit that, and that's the final in overtime. UConn was a 74% foul shooting team coming in. They made only 8 of 19 in this game. And Boatwright's absence obviously critical, but a terrific win for Temple. Sports Center is coming up next. 57-53 the final. Temple launches conference play with a victory over the defending national champs. For my partner Doris Burke and our great crew here in Hartford, I'm Dave O'Brien. Please have a very happy and safe New Year's Eve as we say so long from Hartford, Connecticut.